Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the channel. Uh so today was a crazy day for AMC. So I do wanna update on some crypto at the end of the video as well. A couple crypto things that I'm looking at. But first we'll start off with AMC. I tweeted out saying that I kind of had an idea of what was going on now, like how I see the rest of the week playing out. And also I did tweet that I was like running around to the doctor and stuff today. Everybody's fine. My little man's got strep throat, and mom apparently probably has strep throat too. They both have pretty much the same symptoms. I mean, he's two. He like won't eat his food unless he throws it on the ground first. So I guess it's bound to happen at one point or another, right? So yeah, let's just get into the analysis, and then we'll talk about AMC. Then we'll talk about some crypto, Doge, Bitcoin. I really want to talk about Bitcoin specifically, just because I think that obviously Bitcoin kind of drives the market for crypto, and then obviously there's also that connection between AMC's historic runs and Bitcoin historically dipping in 2021 before AMC makes a big run. So we'll look at that as well, because to be honest with you, I don't really see Bitcoin dipping, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, and what that could mean for AMC. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first thing that I want you guys to be paying attention to here is the cycle theory that we've been really paying attention to is that this top down into this valley, and then this top here, let me change this, make it a little bit thicker so it's easier to see, is the same as this one, right? That's kind of been like the more popular thing. And then this is what would be happening next, right? Overall, I'd say, and I mentioned this in the video yesterday, I'd say that we're still on track when it comes to that. And obviously we're seeing a dip here in post market, but I just want to talk about like how it still can all correlate, and how it doesn't really make a difference like what this dip does, in my opinion. Like, I just think that, like, I subscribe to the idea, and I mean, I don't see too many people pushing that, but that this thing is expanding. I know that Astro originally was talking about how they can expand and everything like that, and I think that sometimes we underestimate the power of their ability to expand the cycles and expand the same pattern playing out. Obviously, we've been following the Wyckoff patterns, right? And I mean, I tweeted out today, off of this dip, let me get the extended session in. Off of this dip, I have time. Like, I can wait because it's so apparent to me. And let me pull up volume. I don't know why I don't have volume on my chart right now. Super important. Let's make the volume nice and loud. All right, so, and we just want to look at this relative volume here. So, I can wait because I know that with Wyckoff, we're in a good place. So let me pull up the example for you guys who aren't familiar with Wyckoff. If you're new to the channel, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. I post daily updates on AMC, and I'm going to start talking more and more about other stuff as well, like crypto, et cetera, just so that we're getting like a holistic view of the big trends in the market. But yeah, so I think that crypto looks like it's going to have a big end of the year, in my opinion. So let me drag this over. All right, so the accumulation schematic that we've been following with Wyckoff for AMC is this one. And I mean, you could say that there was somewhat of a spring event as well. Like, you could say that if you do it like trend based, you could say that like maybe back here was like a spring, or you could do this sort of trend line, and then it creates this spring here. Generally speaking, though, I'm looking at it from a horizontal support and resistance perspective. So what that looks like is here and here are like the major zones. And then How did that happen? What? What is this? Moon. Yeah, so the way I see it is, yeah, I mean, you're still on track here. I think that it's pretty obvious that we are in like a phase D sort of situation here where we're getting our last point of support down. That's how I see it, at least. This does not look like it's straight, but apparently it is. That looks crooked in my eyes, but maybe I'm blind. And then this would be like your beginning of your phase C. Make this the same length, I guess. Boom. Right. So, to me, what this looks like is you've kind of established your last point of support in phase D here, right? And then usually the last point of support is going to go back to like a horizontal support resistance, right? And so you can see here that historically we've gotten rejected from this sort of area, rejected here. We found it as support, caused a big run up. Came back down, tested the general area, came back down, tested the general area. We found support and then got rejected here. Came up, tried to break it again, got rejected, traded below it for a second, broke it. Boom. So you can tell that this is a relevant zone, right? And this zone, for anybody who may be asking, is $38.60, right? So don't think of it so like specifically, but just think like, you know, that $37.50 to $40 region, essentially. We came back, we found our last point of support here in this region. I'll change the color of this so it's a little bit easier to decipher. And so now, you know, the way I see it is just like you see here, you know, we're kind of just like, we're gonna come and grab support like along the way. And Wyckoff, you know, it plays out on different time frames, right? So like if you zoom in and you go to a smaller time frame, you'll be able to see more accumulation occurring, right? And then like this is a mini distribution that's occurring. This is an accumulation that's occurring. And then like it's playing out here, right? We have a sign of strength here. Come back down for your backup, boom, and then you break up for a markup. But we're not ready for the more macro markup yet. So what does that look like? Well, and I know that I kind of got sidetracked off of this, but let's go back and take a look at this for a comparison. I think that what's going on is the same thing that happened back here in May. It's gonna be May. Before the run to $70 plus. Remember in the video yesterday, I was saying that we have a bunch of these little sort of, it's not like a cup and handle, but it's like these little kind of J's, right? These kind of J patterns that kept occurring in this run up. I think that that is what you're seeing here, but it's just, it's more drawn out because like we said, the overall, everything is more drawn out, right? So like this is your first J, and then you're gonna see here that you're gonna have another one. That's how I see it, at least. And then within it, it might have like some smaller ones. But I think that overall, what's happening is you're having more and more condensed accumulation occurring within the larger accumulation pattern. And now, because we're getting towards the end, in my opinion, not financial advice, you know, don't do anything based on what I'm saying. Obviously, make your own decisions, come to your own conclusions. But now we have pretty much broken this trading range again, right? We've had a sign of strength. We've broken above it, and now we're coming back. Now, I think that really what's happening is there's a shorter term accumulation that's occurring here, right? Kind of in this zone of the chart. Let me take this off so it's not as confusing. Right? So think of it this way. And then maybe drag this down as the resistance. So now, right, this is an accumulation as well, just on a shorter term. And so we've had our sign of strength. We've broken above. Now we need to just kind of mess around here before we can have our markup on this shorter term. And so what does that look like for the rest of the week? Well, And to simplify it and get away from Wyckoff a little bit, what I think is happening is, I know it might feel like I'm bouncing around a little bit here, but hopefully, if you guys have been keeping up with the videos and kind of keeping track of the way that I'm looking at the chart and stuff, you'll kind of be able to make sense of it. Well, what I've been saying is we could see a breakdown to 40, right? That's one of the main things that I've seen. We could break down below 40 again. And obviously, I don't know, like some people take that as like a doomsday thing or whatever. Like we literally were just at below 40 like a few days ago. Like I don't understand why it's such a big deal to say that we're below 40 again, but I think that it's actually a good thing that's happening, because what's happening is you're having a normalization of higher price levels now. And so it creates stress whenever you bring up like lower price levels, which to me insinuates that there is a certain level of comfort above these regions now. Like the past few times that we broke up above 40 and stuff, you didn't have that same sort of, it was almost like this like victory lap sort of thing. And then like, you get shit on, but like now it seems like people are way more like, oh no, we're not going below 40 again type thing. So what I think is going to happen for the rest of the week, so that I don't get sidetracked anymore, you can see that this rising wedge, and look, I was drawing a smaller rising wedge before today, right? Like I was drawing it like this before. But just like if you guys have been following the channel for a while, I was following this this falling wedge, remember? And what was happening was it kept changing. Well, it's because as you make lower lows, you kind of look back and you go, okay, well, we do still have, I don't remember exactly how I had it drawn. It's been a while. But we do still have a technical like falling wedge, right? So like it might have started like this, but then as we broke down below, whatever, you go, well, we do still have a technical falling wedge here. The same sort of thing is happening here. We're breaking higher highs, but we're still creating this wedge. Volume is still decreasing, et cetera, right? So if you look at this, if you just look at it, it kind of aligns with what Colin and Esther and all those guys that I always talk about on my channel, the cycle theory guys, what they're talking about, right? So November 12th is the end of our week here. And remember how I said that we're going to be creating those J patterns, right? What I think you're going to see is this. I think you're just going to see this sort of thing, and it kind of aligns with everything, right? So then what you might be thinking now is, well, a rising wedge, if you're familiar with a rising wedge, it's a bearish reversal pattern, right? This is where we come full circle. So I think that what you're going to see is you're going to see us come all the way back up here to this $50+ region by the end of the week. I don't think it's going to be like, like in one day. I mean, maybe a wick or something, but I don't think it's going to just happen. And I could be wrong. Like I'm more than happy to be wrong. Like trust me, if it just shoots past 50 and it goes to $1 million or whatever, I'll be the happiest guy in the room. But I like to set realistic expectations. And I like to like not, I don't know. It's okay for it to not like happen immediately. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's fun to think about, but like, it's also not very realistic. At the end of the day, what's happening is institutions are accumulating this thing. That's what I believe. So, it aligns with the Wyckoff theory, right? The larger Wyckoff theory. And what's going to happen is you're going to have this, boom, we're going to go into the weekend. People are going to be extra excited, dude, because it's that sign of strength, right? We break above this trading range. People are going to be like, oh man, this is so exciting. But we're in this rising wedge. What I think you're going to see is then, boom, you're going to come back down, maybe test this like mid 40s region, kind of where we're at now. And then boom. Well, what does that happen to align with, right? So we got the rising wedge pattern tightening upward, right? We break the trading range. Everybody gets super excited. It's going to be an emotional moment when that happens, right? People are going to be super excited, and boom, maybe get shorted down beginning of next week. And then that week is kind of chill zone until boom. And this aligns with what Esther and Colin and all those guys have been saying, is that we're going to have that big breakup. And, going into Thanksgiving, and then it's going to kind of create this environment where everybody's talking about it at Thanksgiving and, you know, that sort of thing, right? And I don't know how big it'll go at that point, or like if it'll be in the middle of its run going into Thanksgiving, because honestly, I believe on this run we're going to see, in my opinion, not financial advice, whatever you want to do, like, but based on all the stuff that I'm looking at and the way that the cycles have gone previously, I'm looking at $150, $200 plus AMC on this run. And so if we go into a holiday, right, and then maybe we have a break in the action here because of the holiday. Let's see, we got 24th. I believe that ends the week. Let's look at our calendar here. See how we would envision it playing out. Pull up a calendar. Oh, don't look at all my personal. I'm just kidding. My weird appointments. So let's see. I don't think I have anything in this calendar, so the 22nd is a Monday. Okay. 24th. So the only day that's closed for the market is the 25th, it looks like. Then we come back the 26th. Then we come back for the next week. Okay. So like if we come back, we do our backup, this $40, $45 region, whatever, boom, and then we start to have a run up. I don't know. I mean, let's just do the bars pattern like we've done before, right? That'll be fun. So bars pattern like this. Okay. So again, we're operating under the assumption that this is generally going to repeat itself, right? Which obviously in a way seems a little ridiculous, but hey, you know, this whole thing has been fucking ridiculous anyway. So I mean, this would say that we just break above this wedge, and then we do this super hype cycle thing, and maybe we go up to the 60s, and then we come back and back up to the $40-ish range. I mean, that could be a possibility, but what would that put us? So that would have us running, and then the peak when I account for scale, right? Because the numbers are a little bit bigger here, and the moves are more dramatic, right? So I've estimated it's moving at about a 1.5 times as slow. So boom, boom. So then this would put our all-time high at December 2nd. Not financial advice, dude. Do not go buy, like, I mean, look, do whatever you want. So not financial advice, but I am not going to be buying like weekly options or anything that expire on fucking December 3rd. I'm not doing that. I'll tell you that for sure. But you know, yeah, I mean, you could be looking at that region, you know, this is totally possible. I mean, we've seen it do it before. Yeah, so yeah, that is, I mean, it all comes full circle when you look at it that way, right? You have kind of this drawn out sort of these like J patterns as I've been describing them, right? It lines up with the Wyckoff theory. So this would be then your sign of strength. This would then be your backup, right? Backup, last point of support. This is a last point of support here that I feel like we're experiencing right now. Yeah, and then on a larger scale, you have this bigger accumulation that started like right here, whenever we had this sell climax, right? Let's bring up that schematic again. So this is generally the schematic. It's more like this one where you have this more middling last point of support in phase C. That would be like this region of the chart. And then we're now in phase D, in my opinion. So that's kind of the holistic view. That's how I'm seeing AMC right now. With that being said, I also did want to jump into the Bitcoin stuff. I've been talking about Bitcoin a little bit, and again, you know, this is more talking about the holistic opportunity that comes with Bitcoin. I did tweet out saying, hey, you know, Bitcoin, this was a reaccumulation schematic that I was plotting out here. I literally, I think I did this, I tweeted this like here, maybe. It was like November 4th or 5th. And I did this path. I haven't edited the path. Obviously, Bitcoin looks to be outperforming my path a little bit. Maybe we'll see some retracement here, but I think that this is new all-time highs for Bitcoin. Yeah, so the previous all-time high was here. And I know that people were talking about like yeah, I need to explain like my logic and stuff like that behind, because this looks like distribution as well in a way. And let me show you the reaccumulation schematic that I'm using as the example. So this is like is this stock charts as well? Oh yeah, it sure is, isn't it? But yeah, so what's happening here, think of it from this perspective. If institutions are have completed this long-term accumulation, let's go look back here. So you'll see here, right? This is that accumulation I'm talking about. Where's my brush at? So this is that accumulation, right? And just right, it's similar to this. It's more like the one with the spring in phase C. So it's like this. You can see here, right? You have that selling climax, boom, you're accumulating in this trading range. Spring, maybe spring is here, test, and then you move up. And then you want to look at the volume too. So it's relatively low volume in this downtrend, which is a good sign that you're accumulating. And then that's like the opposite of distribution. So let me just show you this distribution that occurred on Bitcoin. So pretty obviously here you can see you have your buying climax, perhaps here, come back down. Well, really, this is an up thrust. Up thrust. And then, dude, UTAD. Like, why is it getting in my way? UTAD. And then, boom, last point of supply. Boom, right? Big sell off. Beautiful drawing, Dave. Thank you so much for drawing like that. Wow, so educational, so much time and effort. All right, so why is this different? Why is this not distribution? Because if you look at it, if you just look at it, you could draw similarities, right? You could say, well, Dave, you know, this is your buying climax. This is your automatic reaction. This is your up thrust, maybe. And I actually agree with you. I agree that it does look that way. But what you want to be looking at here is volume. And so the reason that this became distribution is because you saw this crazy rise in volume here, right? And then you had this sell-off where volume kind of maxed out on this sell-off. So that was your buying climax, okay? So this was January of 2021 is when the buying climax happened. And then what confirms to me that this was distribution afterwards is you have this higher high in price, but then volume gets this peak, but it's extremely low compared to previous, and then your volume goes in a general downtrend in this distribution as the price continues higher. It's a clear sign that institutions have left the building, and they're just causing price rallies to have retail buy into Bitcoin so that they can continue to dump it off on them on higher and higher prices. That's not what you're seeing here. What you're seeing here is you have this big volume spike at the end of this accumulation, at the end of the distribution, right, which is your selling climax. And then you have just this non-existent volume, right, the whole time that the price continues higher. What this means to me is that institutions have continued accumulation. They haven't caused any crazy price spikes. Crazy volume spikes. And you can look at the relative volume and still see that the volume is still pretty low. To me, that means that they've been accumulating the whole time. You haven't had any crazy price spikes in volume that have insinuated that you've seen a buying climax in the context of like a full distribution. So let's look at the reaccumulation schematic. And you can just look into Wyckoff reaccumulation, stockcharts.com. Just Google that, and you'll be able to find this. But the reason I was able to chart it so accurately is because, all right, there you go. is because, you know, I just saw the phases, and again, it doesn't have to be exact, but because you can obviously see that this isn't horizontal. I've done it kind of diagonally here, but it's just the basic idea. You know, I mean, you can do it like this too if you want. I guess you could do it horizontally and it would work just fine. I know I can draw a horizontal line and it'll just do it for me, but whatever. Yeah, so what am I saying here? And look, you have this buying climax, it kind of extends up here, and then what I have charted as a sell test doesn't come all the way back up. Honestly, it's probably here. So like if I go to the hourly, you'll see, boom. Yeah, so this is actually your sell test. So you have your buying climax, your sell test, and then your automatic reaction. Maybe you would say it's all the way down here. And then you come back up to approach the resistance, and then you kind of have this jump the creek sort of thing. So basically this creek is like the last point of resistance, and then you break right through it. You might come back down, test this thing a few times as you see in my path, and then I think you're going to go to 75 plus $1,000. Not financial advice, do whatever you want. But yeah, so that's the general tone on Bitcoin. I see big things happening, and then even if you zoom in here, it's crazy. I mean, to me, it's so obvious that it's reaccumulation. And then you can even see that that reaccumulation is occurring again here on a smaller time frame, right? So you would say probably buying climax here. Maybe even if we zoomed in a little bit further, you would have like a even another like the sell test would be like right here. So no, not really. I mean, and again, you're gonna have to go and do your research to see what all these definitions mean, because I know that I'm just kind of saying like, oh, buying climax, sell test, you know what that means. But you kind of get the general idea of what the schematic is how it's playing out, right? So this would be like that creek zone here, and you're gonna looking to jump the creek. Basically, it's the process of, oh, okay, we're breaking above our previous resistance that was established here. Maybe we're within the trading range. Like this is our local resistance. We're gonna jump the creek here. Boom. We're gonna have our last point of support, and then boom, we're gonna break out. So it's all in the methodology. You kind of gotta. It's hard to explain. I need to sit down and make a whole video that explains like my methodology here and the logic. It's almost like I'm so used to seeing it now that I like look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, that's that. You can see here though that we're getting some red volume spikes, but this is the minute chart. I mean, that's not as significant as, you know, it's not, minute chart's not going to be as significant as what's happening on the hourly. You can see bulls are in control, right? These big green volume spikes lately just shows bulls are in control in general. And let's see. So look for, you know, what volume spikes are bigger, green or red, right? Right here, you got some red ones. So maybe that's a sign of weakness, but I'd say overall the trend has been pretty strongly to the upside, right? So, and then Doge, just briefly, we'll touch on Doge. Yeah, this video is not too bad. It's only 30 minutes. I want to split screen Doge right quick. So it's only 30 minutes, dude. You guys spoil me, man, because you guys stick around and watch the whole thing. But yeah, so Doge. Oh, it's a I need to change off this calculated chart because the calculated chart's volume is all fucked. Sorry for cursing. It's late in the video. This is the late night Dave. The late night Dave you've been looking for. Yeah, so let's look at Bittrex. Let's do the same one here. Bittrex. And then the reason that I'm doing two charts is because the timing is different. So this cycle for Doge is happening at about a third of the speed based on my analysis as the last cycle occurred. Maybe we do 1 day versus 3 days so that it's a little bit more expanded, huh? Yeah, that's what we do. And 3 day. All right. So, oh Lord, I got a lot going on over here in this chart. Just hide this all for now. I just want to make it real simple and too crazy. Well, you're failing, Dave. This video is 30 minutes long. My family now hates me. All right. What am I doing? All right, so this is the 3-day chart for Doge here. And then this is the 1 day. So let's expand this out. You're going to see that these charts are very similar. Almost comically. Shout out to @Rico's Trade for putting me on the Doge play. So this is the previous Doge cycle, and this is the current Doge cycle. This is 3 days. This is 1 day. I believe that it's happening at about 2.7 times the speed. And so what I see happening with Doge here is it's crazy because like last night Doge pumped in the middle of the night. Yesterday I was telling Rico, I was like, yeah man, like in the next few days we should see it run up to like 32 cents or 31 cents, whatever. Where did we get this peak at 30 cents? Maybe I haven't fully missed the opportunity then, but and then it just like did it in the middle of the night, 2-3 a.m. and I missed it because I was gonna sell it and then I was gonna buy whatever dip occurred. But basically, I think that this peak that you see here is the same as this peak here, and we can pull up volume on this chart as well. I don't think it's really gonna matter too much. And so what I would be expecting, this to me is clearly accumulation. It's just a repetition of the same cycle as well, which is super weird that that's even a thing. But yeah, basically, I think that what you're seeing occur here is probably a similar move to what you saw before, which is you know, maybe you have this kind of retracement here and then like slowly you're going to start to see these moves up. This to me, Doge is going to be making these big moves and you're probably going to see like its next all-time high happen like early mid-December. Not financial advice, but go for yourself and check out this cycle and like compare the charts to each other. Let's see if I can fractionalize it a little bit more. I know that for you guys who've been watching the videos, it's getting a little long now. I'm sorry about that, but I'm kind of doing it in real time. Like I said, I had to do all kinds of running around and stuff like that today for the fam. I don't know if that's pleasant in your ear. Sorry for headphone users. Yeah, so this is the 2 hour versus the 6 hour over here. For scaling purposes. I mean, you can see the similarities. I mean, you have this double peaky sort of thing. Come down, run down here, run down here. You kind of have this phase B of sorts in here. So yeah, if you, I mean, I know it's kind of silly. It seems kind of silly, I should say, but you know, if you just grab like a bars pattern here, and then you copy it and paste it here, and then you just were to bring it over here, you would be able to see that it aligns pretty well, especially when you account for the scaling and everything like that. And yeah, so if you do it in this manner, it's a little soon for me. I don't think it's gonna be that soon. Let's see. Be a little bit more accurate with it. Yeah, so this is how I was able to kind of see this move coming. Yeah, I'd say that probably this looks like it might be. Let's make this a little bit more transparent so I can see underneath. Yeah, it looks like this might be, maybe it kind of has this double peaky thing, so maybe it'll go a little bit higher, and I haven't fully missed my opportunity here. But what I'm probably going to be doing is looking for, yeah, I haven't missed it yet. Cool. So I'm going to be, you know, not financial advice, but I'm going to be looking for for probably a move. What time is this? Midnight. Okay. So I'm looking for Doge at midnight, around midnight tonight, to be at around 31, 32 cents. I'm going to exit all of my Doge. And then I'm going to look to accumulate it here again. So what is this bottom? This sort of range. Yeah, 25, 28-ish cents, you know? That's sort of, yeah, that sort of range. And then from there, we should start seeing a move up into next week. And then maybe we have this 40 cents-ish thing happen here, November 18th. That'll be nice, 10 days from now. I mean, you can kind of see these things playing out too. Like you see all the Tesla news that's going on. Elon's been tweeting at Doge people lately, like Doge accounts and stuff like that, just saying, oh, he wants to be the CEO of Doge, and you know, that sort of. It's kind of funny how our markets seem to be being operated. But hey, you know, maybe it's all just a coincidence. I don't know. But yeah, so that's pretty much the video. That's all the stuff that I'm really looking at closely. I got a few other crypto plays that I'm in and stuff like that. I just wanted to cover like the big names, just the big name ones that I think really need the focus. I'm also looking at like ADA, Rune, those sorts of coins as well. But yeah, so that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed kind of seeing in my head a little bit type of things that I'm looking for, type of things that I look for in general. And yeah, just looking at the market overall. Hopefully you enjoyed. And yeah, don't forget, if you need to, go back and watch the AMC part of the video again. I know that this is mainly an AMC channel, but don't forget, like, you know, I feel like we're still on track here. And I don't want to give any timelines or anything like that, but you know, it seems like everything is going according to plan, from my perspective here. Looks like is after hours closed now? It's not trading anymore, is it? I don't know what time after hours closes. I don't really pay attention to after hours too much. But yeah, I think everything's going right according to plan. Right according to plan. Nothing too crazy happening here. Look at that. Look at that little fucking dip down there. Yeah. Beautiful. So yeah. So you guys have a good rest of your day and take it easy.